All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Los Angeles Rams rookie defensive end edge defender Jared Verse. Verse was a disruptive force for this Rams. He's getting better and better, and we've got a great set of cut-ups to highlight everything he's bringing to this Los Angeles defense. As always, if you appreciate this content, give us a like, give us any comments with any feedback you might have. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, we're going to open up with a pass rush situation here. There's Verse right there on the left side of your screen. You can see the Minnesota Vikings have two tight ends lined up to the left side of the formation here. They're going to take both 86 and 84 to try and double team Verse. It's going to be a play action inside. We're going to get a wide receiver motion right here before the snap to try and get some flow from the linebackers. This is a situation where a lot of offenses really hate to leave a quality defensive player, especially an edge rusher, one-on-one on a tight end. The Vikings get a little too smart for their own good. They say one-on-one with the tight end would be bad. How about we throw two tight ends on Verse right there? That should be enough to handle them. The rookie surprises and dominates them both. Let's check it out. All right, there's the motion. There's a snap. We got play action right there. Verse powers through that tight end, 84. Sacks Darnold, gets him on the ground. Incredible work here from the rookie. Let's go back to the very beginning. You can see initially it's a double team. 86 tries to help. Then he releases into kind of a check down right there. Probably should have stayed on a little bit longer because 84 gets used and abused here. This is just grown man. I am bigger, stronger, more powerful than you football. I love the fact that Verse with tight ends on him, he doesn't try and get cute. He doesn't try to do a swim move or doesn't do anything funky. No spin move. Just blow through these guys. These guys don't know how to block you. They're tight ends. They're in the game to try and catch 3 or 4 yard passes. They want to be receivers that are a little too big, right? That's how these tight ends think. Verse says, I'm just going to bully you. I'm just going to grown man you into the quarterback and make the play. This is awesome stuff. Verse, very early in his career, has become not just a good defender, but an elite defender across the board. We'll show him in the run game shortly how good he's been there as well. His dominance against this game, he was the reason the Rams won the game. Look, we know having Nakua and cutback had a big role, but I tell you what, Rams fans, number 8 right here, this rookie, he's going to be a star for you guys for a very long time. All right, take a look at it from the wide copy right here. You can see Verse power in the 84 and just keep running his feet, driving him back, tossing him aside like he's nothing, and sacking the quarterback. This is just a scheme buster. You can see 2 tight ends on him right there. The Vikings just say, okay, we'll throw 2 guys on him. There's no way he makes a play. Now we don't have to worry about Verse this play. And despite that, Verse makes the sack. This is the kind of talent, this is the kind of ability that Verse brings. There's schemes here that the Vikings wanted to run and other teams will want to run as well, but his talent, his effort, his motor just negates that ability. Nice play from the rookie. All right, going with the run defense now, there is Verse right there on the right side of your screen. This is kind of a weird kind of concept here for the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to pull 30 across the formation and kind of lead block as well. They're actually going to pull the backside guard too to kind of lead block through that hole. And it's going to be a downhill run right there with Aaron Jones trying to attack the middle of the Rams defense. It's kind of a weird concept. You have what feels like a double team here before working up to the next level. You've got what, again, looks like a double team there and a back block there. I don't know exactly what the Vikings offense is trying to do here. It's kind of a really weird play design, and the Rams blow it up. But let's look at Jared Verse here. One-on-one right here. Darrisaw, the really quality left tackle here for the Minnesota Vikings. He's unfortunately hurt. Great player. Hate to see that. But on this play, Darrisaw is trying to anchor down Verse. Basically what that means is Darrisaw is going to step inside, make sure Verse doesn't cross his face, then block out on him. Verse with an incredible job here. Threatens that gap and then immediately jumps around and helps make the tackle. Nice work here from the rookie. Let's check it out. All right, there's 30 in motion. You can see 64 pulling. You can see it's supposed to be a lead right there through that part of the defense. Turner right here absolutely blows the play up. Nice play by him. But it's kind of a weird play design, right? They have so many guys. They basically have 3 offensive linemen and a pulling fullback right there for 2 edge defenders, 1 offensive lineman up to a linebacker, right? That's not great numbers. I don't love this design from an offensive perspective. And credit to the Rams for stopping it. You obviously have Turner here beating that guard. Nice rep. But let's look at Verse on Darrisaw right here. Darrisaw jumps inside right there, but Verse swims over the top. Darrisaw goes flying around. Verse makes a play. Again, elite level athleticism. Watch how Verse one step inside, gets Darrisaw really concerned that he's going to threaten and cross his face and make the play. Then Verse jumps outside. Again, on the previous play, the first play against the tight ends, he showed his strength. That's what you do. You bully tight ends against quality offensive linemen like Darrisaw. You use your speed and athleticism. That's what Verse does. Nice play from the rookie.
Yeah, Nick, and we're talking about run defense for Verse. He's obviously known as a premier pass rusher. He's done a lot of great things there, but he's been really consistent throughout the run defense game. Last 3 weeks, 65 overall, 67.6 PFF grade, 68.1, totaling them up with a couple of games that are even a little bit higher with a 75.0 run defense grade per PFF this season. He has been very balanced, very, very good in the run defense game. We all knew he was going to be good in the pass rush game to begin with, but Verse has just been so impressive how much he has grown and improved throughout this season.
All right, going back to a pass rush, you can barely see the outside of Verse right there on the left side of your screen. He's lined out wide because you can see the Vikings have a slot receiver right there inside. You can see Darrisaw, this is after he got hurt in the game, so there's the backup offensive lineman in the game. But anytime you have a backup left tackle, you're an edge rusher. I like the edge rushers that treat this like Verse treated tight ends. You go speed to power. You threaten them with speed and then drive through their chest. That's exactly what Verse does here and dominates this poor backup. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see Verse going inside. Bullies through that tackle. Gets half the sack. Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at this punch, folks. Let's go back to the very beginning. I tell you what, again, stupid design by the Minnesota Vikings. Why do you have 83 trying to chip on a defensive end? Look at 83 size. I'll pause it right here. Look how small 83 is on the left side of your screen compared to how big Verse is. This is just dumb design by the Minnesota Vikings. I'm sorry. But again, dominate play by Verse. So he dodges 83 like he's nothing. He's got a clear shot at 76. Watch his contact. Oh, my goodness. I always love when you see offensive linemen's arms go flailing like that. Gee whiz. You talk about power, you talk about punch. I just love to see that from an edge rusher. We know Verse is a great athlete. We've seen it all this season. We already saw in the second play. But his power, his strength, his explosiveness, I love them come out of Florida State. I didn't know he had this much game in that part of his arena. This is an incredible play. Blows the offensive lineman back, then completely comes off, gets half the sack. This Rams defense, this front four we already knew it was good, but they're becoming extraordinary, and I expect them to make more big plays like this the rest of the season. Take a look at it from the wide copy. Watch Verse dodge 83, power through 76. Oh, my goodness gracious. Boom. Oh, Lord. I mean, that's just really bad for the offensive lineman. And look, I feel for this guy, right? Because he's got all this space. He's got to cover all this ground. He's expecting Verse, a great athlete, maybe jump inside, maybe jump outside. He's just trying to expect and hope he doesn't get bowled over, and he absolutely does. I tell you what, offensive line, tough situation. Jared Verse, credit for him. Powerful rep here. Nice play from the rookie. All right, going back to the run defense, there's Verse right there on the left side of your screen. So this is going to be a kind of play that every team likes to run. It's going to be sort of an inside zone concept. Right here, you're going to get the running back attacking this A-gap and trying to cut back wherever he can. We're going to get double teams right here working up to that linebacker. We're going to get reach base block there between the right guard of that defensive lineman, reach base block here, right tackle, working up to that edge defender. On the backside right here, we're going to get what's called a tight scoop technique from the left tackle. He's going to work vertically a little bit to kind of hold Verse in place, then come off on the linebacker, give this tight end, number 84, enough time to try and shield off Verse. In this situation right here, how they normally like to do this from an offensive perspective, you like to get movement here, get this guy dislocated up to the linebacker, and have the running back basically cut behind it and angle just like this. You don't want to get too far to the right of the hash here if you're running back, because that's where your offensive lineman's trying to move these people. You get this far over here, you're running your running back into the defense, not what you want to do. Now, the way you can prevent that from a defensive perspective is if on the backside you got guys like Verse pinching right here inside, constricting the hole. That's exactly what he does. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the double team. You see that initial movement. You see how they get up to linebacker. You can see where the running back wants to go. He basically wants to run right up the hash right here, right behind those two offensive linemen going up to the next level. Let's look at Verse, though. He works through the tight scoop. Again, uses a swim move, fights through 84, throws him inside, gets held, doesn't draw the penalty. That's okay. Forces the running back. Right there, you can see Aaron Jones. He wants to run right up the hash. Instead, he's got to jump to the right. And who's there to meet him? The other half of the pod, Fisk, limited run. This is a nice play by Fisk, by the way. Again, getting double teamed, getting blown back, but he still fights through over the top and makes the play. That's a great job by him. I know we're talking about Verse here, but I tell you what, I love to see this from interior defensive linemen. Sometimes you get bullied, but you got to fight through it and still find a way to do a decent job. Exactly what 55 does here. Really nice rep here from him. But again, looking at Verse, watch him fight through 84 and basically throw him into the hole. Aaron Jones then has to avoid that. This all starts with Verse right here. Again, he doesn't make the play. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet for him, but this is quality run defense from the rookie.
Yeah, Nick, and when we see Verse here, we're seeing maintaining the edge, keeping the runner inside, allowing his teammates to make the play. What do? They make the tackle, and I think this is something that is really important because Verse, this also, again, I talk about his growth. There's a couple other things I'll bring up as well. Beginning of the season, first 4 games, Verse in the missed tackle department, kind of bad. Doing a little bit too much, getting a little too cute. He missed 11 tackles in his first 4 games. The last 3 games, 1. So he's getting better. He's playing his assignments. He's staying there. He's making the open field tackles. He's doing a really great job in not missing these crucial tackles. And I think just we've seen him grow and grow throughout this season. There's a couple more things I want to point out later in the film, but he's doing such a great job this season. What a pickup for the Rams.
All right, going back to a pass rush situation, there's Verse right there on the right side of your screen, hiding behind the goalpost there. Here, the Minnesota Vikings, they're going to slide the protection with the center right guard and right tackle to the offensive right. So the center is going to take this gap right here. The right guard's going to take this gap right here. The right tackle is going to take this gap right here. And we're going to get one-on-one on the backside just like this. Left guard on that defensive lineman right there. I believe that's Fisk. Left tackle, one-on-one on Young over there, I believe. Now, this is actually a really smart design here in terms of adjusting the protection by the Minnesota Vikings. Because you know, even though this guy's head up right here, the odds of him going this way are pretty small. Because if he goes this way, that basically means you're going to get a mass of humanity over here. And you're going to, because you already have two edge rushers, and you're basically going to cancel out. All these guys are going to run into each other, and you're going to take the football out of Young and Fisk's hands, basically have them run into each other. It's going to be a mess. So what the Vikings smartly understand is like, okay, this guy's probably going to work this way, or at least head on, in which case the center will pick him up. The right guard's protecting this gap. The right tackle's protecting this gap. Decent job here by the Vikings. Now let's watch Verse here. This is, again, what his talent does. The offense does a solid strategic move. Verse, through his sheer playmaking ability, beats it. Now he doesn't get credit for the play here because Darnold ends up throwing it away, but he beats the initial protector, the right tackle, and then fights through the guard as well. Incredible rep from the rookie. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see right there the offensive line basically taking a gap to the right. The nose guard working straight away, so the center picks him up right there. You can see actually slides to the right. You can see we get man-on-man on this side right here. Let's look at Jared Verse. One-on-one on the tackle right here. Tackle gets way too aggressive. Verse dodges inside like he's nothing. Fights through the guard. He ends up falling down. I think he just trips over, what, this offensive lineman right there, or he just trips over his own feet. Yeah, right there. I think he tripped over Aaron Jones. But again, let's say right here, Young's not coming around getting pressure. Verse is right there to be right in Darnold's face as well. And it's all said and done. Darnold has to basically just throw the football away. Again, even the plays where he's not on the stat sheet, and he had a really productive game in terms of tackles for loss and sacks. Verse makes plays. He beats not one, but two offensive linemen. When you slide the protection to the right like this, there is not a universe where you think, as an offensive coordinator, play caller, coach, that this edge rusher will beat people inside, right? There's a chance, right? He runs an outside move and beats your tackle. That'll happen. But if you're sliding your protection to an edge rusher and he beats the tackle inside and beats the guard outside like this, that is something you can't game plan for. Again, he is a scheme beater. That's what he does. The smartest offensive minds in football. You can't account for this athleticism. You can't account for this playmaking ability. Nice job by Jared Verse. Again, from the wide copy, watch Verse get up the field and then jab inside just like that and then fight outside the guard too. Again, incredible athleticism. I don't love how aggressive this tackle is right there. That's too aggressive of a set in my book, but Verse takes advantage of it. That's what the good players do. When the opposition makes a mistake, you take advantage of it. He beats him cleanly like he's nothing. Great rep. Here's what I also love. He beats him with the inside move, and then see how he immediately gets vertical right there? So many guys, young and veteran edge defenders alike, they win the inside and then they stay inside and the quarterback can escape. Not Verse. He beats inside, gets vertical, makes sure Sam Darnold has to escape the other direction. Nice work here from number 8. All right, sticking with the pass rush, there's Verse right there on the left side of your screen. What the Minnesota Vikings decide to do is basically double team Verse. The tight end's going to pick him up. We're going to have actually Darisaw scanning to help pick him up as well. Basically put two guys on Verse. And again, this is one thing I don't understand from the Minnesota Vikings. You've got a tight end right here basically lined up in a split like he's a wide receiver, and you want him to pass protect. I think that's a mismatch anyway, but at least get him in like a 2-point stance or a 3-point stance or something. I don't get what Minnesota's doing here. But regardless, again, this is what Verse does. The opposition makes a mistake, which the Vikings did in terms of their strategy on this play. He takes advantage of it, and he still shows the speed out as well to get pressure on the quarterback, even with Darisaw scanning to pick him up. And this is team defense, right? You get pressure from the outside. Darnold steps up. You get help inside. Results in an incomplete pass. Team defense led by the rookie. Let's check it out. There's motion. All right, we get the snap. Watch Verse beat both guys around the edge. Sam Darnold feels it. He steps up. He has pressure in his face from 97. Incomplete pass. Team defense, right, guys? Again, we've seen plays where Verse makes a play by himself, but I love the fact that even when he's not filling up the stat sheet, his teammates together are helping play a really good job. Look, this is where the Rams are going to win. This is why they're still a threat. We know offensively they're good, but defensively, folks, there's not a lot of teams that can handle this. When you have Fisk pushing the pocket one way, you've got Verse forcing the quarterback to step up, and you got 97 driving C.J. Hammond to the quarterback's face. There's no offense that can handle this. Again, I'm going to use this phrase again, scheme beater, right? They put two guys on Verse. Verse still forces the quarterback to step up. You've got a rookie winning. You've got CJ Ham getting blown back. There is no offense. And this is a good offense, right? This Minnesota Vikings, they're 5-1 heading into this game. They have no scheme for this. There's nothing you can do. Physical athleticism, along with good teamwork, there's no answer for. And that's what the Rams have up front defensively. And a big part of that, of course, is Jared Verse.
Yeah, and we are talking about, affecting the play here. We see Verse's teammates here being the ones that affect the play. But Verse has done a great job of this. And again, I talk about some growth factors for him. Let's talk about the pass rush. In the first 5 weeks of this season, Verse has gotten 20 total pressures. In those pressures, he's gotten 4 quarterback hits and 1 sack. So those are, not too bad of numbers. But if we look at the last 2 games of the season, week 7, week 8, he's gotten 12 total pressures in 2 games versus 20 in 5. He's gotten 6 quarterback hits, more hits than he got in previous 5 games. And he's gotten 2 sacks. Again, more sacks as well. So he's really converting on these pressures. He's creating more pressure. I just think as the season's gone along, he's gotten much, much better. And again, this is a great Vikings team. So for him to do it against the Vikings as well, 5 total pressures, 2 sacks, and a quarterback hit in that game, doing a really phenomenal job for the young rookie Verse.
All right, let's end on one of my favorite plays from Jared Verse all night long. There he is right there on the right side of your screen. So we're in a 3rd down and goal red zone situation here for the Minnesota Vikings. You talk about why the Rams are going to be contenders the rest of the year. This is why. Now, look, I know the backup left tackle is in for the Minnesota Vikings. And again, Jared Verse, smart approach. Speed and threatens power, blows this joker up right into Sam Darnold's lap, forces an incomplete pass. This is what the Rams defense is becoming. They're becoming a front four that gets after people, that if you're healthy, it's going to be hard to block like we've shown earlier. But if you're beat up, if you're missing 1 or 2 guys, you won't be able to do anything against them. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see Verse threatened vertically with some speed, power, pressure on the quarterback, incomplete pass. I love this, by the way, right here. Watch this. All these DBs are celebrating. Hey, great job, incomplete pass. Man, you didn't do anything. I mean, they did okay, I guess. But this is all number 8. Threatened with speed, throw this tackle back, hit the quarterback. You're talking about defense that you don't have an answer for. Again, it doesn't matter how smart of a play caller you are. I'm going to keep hitting this until it just will annoy the crap out of everybody listening. No matter how good of a scheme or strategy you have, when you've got guys like Jared Verse that can just embarrass offensive linemen like this, there is nothing you can do. This reminds me a little bit of what the Eagles were like in 2022 when they made that run to the Super Bowl, when they were just stacked up front defensively. Right? Obviously, the Rams in the past have had guys like Aaron Donald who were phenomenal in their own right. But that Eagles team was so deep and so talented that they had a million guys that could get pressure on the quarterback, and they made a run all the way to the Super Bowl because of it. Should have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs, to be honest. The Rams are quietly building a team on defense after that mold. They've got guys everywhere. Turner's great. Fisk is going to be a really nice player. Hecht is solid. And, of course, Jared Verse. And, of course, Byron Young, a great player in his own right. This is a really nice job here from Verse. Again, threaten this with the speed, go to power. I love speed to power. Get vertical, get this offensive lineman on his heels, and then throw your full power, throw your full athleticism into this guy's chest, extend his arms. Look at that arm extension. Again, 76 goes flailing, hit the quarterback. Great rep here from Jared Verse. All right, from the wide copy, watch him fire off the football right here. Threaten with speed after the snap. Again, get vertical, force this offensive lineman to pass set, then power through him. Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at this punch. Look at where that contact is made right there. Look where this offensive lineman ends up. Like 5.5 yards back and 2 yards inside. You talk about strength, you talk about power. My goodness gracious. This is awesome from Jared Verse. Young defensive ends that figure out that speed to power is a winning formula often have great careers. We're seeing that already with Jared Verse. He's got a bright future in front of him.